You know, every time I think that Alex Acosta can't get any worse at his job, he just finds a way to prove me wrong. Buckle up, because I took more notes. This is just so dumb. This guy allowed Epstein's defense to review victim notification documents, which is not standard procedure. He then failed to acknowledge who was responsible for notifying the victims that a plea deal was going to be taken by Epstein. He said, well, it's not the state's responsibility, it's the federal court's responsibility, and there was this whole thing that went back and forth and back and forth. And in the process, there were victims that were not actually notified that, hey, Epstein is taking a plea deal. And the problem with that is that these victims, by right, are allowed to testify at court in the plea deal and say, hey, this is my opinion on it. On top of that, there was a victim that reached out and said, hey, I don't like the plea deal. I don't want financial compensation if this is what it's going to be. Give this fucker jail time. And he completely disregarded that entirely, did not care. After this victim was like, hey, I don't like this, he goes, well, I can't undo the agreement. It's signed, therefore it's official. Which is, in my opinion, inaccurate because of statements he stated following the agreement being signed. He said in multiple emails he was concerned that the agreement would fall through because the defense wouldn't honor it. So is it legally binding or not? And if it's not legally binding, can't you just change it to honor what the victim actually wanted? Or is it that the defense gets to do whatever the fuck they want and the prosecution is just going to sit there with their tail between their legs? And the plea is considered an NPA, which is a non-prosecutorial agreement. So this was the federal court saying, we're not going to prosecute on the federal side, we're just going to let the state do the big bad punishment. Which, as we know, was a joke because he got 2 years, which was pled down to 18 months with work release, I have discovered, on top of registering as a sex offender and paying restitution. It's a joke, but it gets worse. Acosta admits that part of the reason Epstein only got 2 years is because it didn't fit his understanding of what sex trafficking was. Mind you, this is a U.S. attorney. Acosta was under the impression that, like, legit sex trafficking was when you have people coming from out of the country into the country being forced to do sex work. He did not consider this sex trafficking because it was inside the U.S. and within the state of Florida. Because the victims were within the state of Florida, suddenly it wasn't sex trafficking. As if that wasn't bad enough, when he was asked about his justification for Epstein's work release, he said that he wanted to treat Epstein like every other sex offender. So if this was normal for other sex offenders, then it should be normal for Epstein and he shouldn't be treated any differently. As if this man is a normal, everyday, run-of-the-mill sex offender. As if this man doesn't have millions of dollars in an organized crime ring to victimize children. This man is a fucking joke. It's so baffling because it just keeps getting worse. And I don't understand how you could have such an incompetent motherfucker being a U.S. attorney. I'm gonna make a YouTube video on this, one of the longer ones, so that I can include direct quotes and documentation of some of this shit that he's saying, because it's fucking insane. So stay tuned for that, but God,